you up?
I am up.
All
Hello and welcome to The Moon Underwater. I'm Kelly Daniels.
Thanks for the long intro. I'm Steve Jones.
Yeah, I was still just plugging things in and
Nice.
looking at notes and all that kind of stuff. I'm on a little slow pace today.
All right.
Yeah.
I was distracted by Jeopardy. So
Jeopardy.
Yeah, it's on in the background.
So you ran a half marathon yesterday.
I did. Yeah, right across the river over there,
And
people.
beat your best time.
By
and,
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I
10
can still
minutes.
walk today. The last time
walk.
I did it, I did 2 hours and 13 minutes. And I could not walk. And
It's improvement.
Yeah, 2 hours and
No
3
pain,
minutes.
no gain. So you got no gain.
Why, yeah. Not that I don't hurt.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
My left knee, which is not normally the knee that hurts, is hurting. So here's to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. I didn't even fill it all the way up.
I was at a party yesterday there, and it was like I left at noon and came back at 10 o'clock, so you can do the math.
Which party?
It was the Criterion party. It was
we
a
talked
bicycle,
about that.
watching a bicycle race while you were
Yeah.
running a running race.
Yeah.
And I feel more tired than you are. And
I've been to that before. That is, I didn't realize there was a lot of bike riding going on. Mostly that's a big party.
yeah, it was a pretty big party. These friends of mine do an annual party, and Lyle and Sigrid. Oh, here's our.
I love it.
And we have a real.
I don't know how
bell
well
now.
that's going to come through, but we'll have to. I mean, I think I can hear it, but it's also because it's sitting right in front of us.
Yeah, but I can't hear it as well because I have headphones on.
Right.
Kind of cancels.
But hopefully
yeah,
we can hear it.
We'll see how it goes.
Do you like how we're avoiding the topic so far?
No, we're not avoiding.
I feel like we are.
Are we?
A
Why?
little.
Because it's been so long since we.
It's been a while,
watched it.
but-
So we a couple weeks ago.
A week ago.
Only a week.
Yeah.
We went to the cinema
We did.
and watched Mad Max.
We did.
Not the new one. Not even the kind of old one.
Right.
But the absolute first one.
When you sent it to me, I was like, oh, sweet, the new Furiosa movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. We'll have to.
Yeah. No, it was 1979
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
And it was a promotion. It's kind of an art house cinema that the Last Picture House. We'll
Ding
give 'em a
them
little
for
ding.
that. Yeah.
And they have first-run movies and all that, but they always also have some funky
do.
older movies, and this was one of them. And they're kind of getting people geared up, if I can use a car metaphor.
You may.
And I even looked up what kind of car he drove just so I can, try to.
Didn't.
You didn't?
You notice that what I have in front of me for notes?
No notes. No note.
Trying it. The meeting worked out pretty well with no notes, really. So,
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And this time I actually did. I was thinking about having no notes because I felt like I knew, but I just needed to collect my thoughts because I'm a couple of clicks slower than usual today, which I like. Just pretend I took a couple of gummies. I didn't, but
What time did you get up?
I always get up early,
Yeah, me
like
too.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And even, in fact, it was in the 5s, and I was awake and just lay there for a while.
Hungover.
Yeah, just didn't sleep very well
Yeah.
and kind of slow burn, buzz maintenance program, drinking PBR just sort of for 10 hours, but not like jamming it back or anything
No,
and
but
not
that's-
getting hammered,
That
but
takes
just
it out of you.
out in the sun, eating smash burgers
Yeah. I saw
And,
those on
watching-
the Facebooks.
and talking to people that I knew and then meeting people I now know. And it was a real party. It was great weather, and so you had to do it.
So just operating a couple gears slower than normal. what'd you
Yeah,
say?
that when you speed up or slow down your recording, I'm just a little slowed down.
Nice.
Which might be good. I think
You can listen at like 1.2.
Yeah, you could do that, and I'll be normal. But I feel like my normal is fast and a little ADHD. Not that I am giving myself a.
Did you diagnose yourself from watching a TikTok video?
I have never done that. I have been told by various people, especially the kind of people that like to diagnose other people for that kind of stuff.
Doctors, right?
No, just
I thought
graduate students
I
in
got
like
it.
sociology. That's
that checks out too.
that's who
them
I'm
or
thinking
doctors,
of.
either way.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. But Mad Max is our subject. And I'm excited about it, even though I seem super chill and slow-paced.
It was quite an experience.
So, had you seen it before?
I had.
Yeah, I had too. It was incredibly different on this watch because I watched it like on HBO or something decades ago.
Yep.
Not 1979. I wouldn't have watched it then.
You're old, but you're not that old.
Yeah. But I remember taking it much more seriously the first time.
Completely.
Because I was not a sophisticated movie guy like I am now. And I'm like, oh, this was like totally campy.
That's
very, very
absolutely
funny.
the word.
And it was funny
But
and
was it
silly.
supposed to be?
I think so. Oh, some of it, absolutely.
Oh,
And
see, now I think I disagree.
Okay. I think that there was a lot of let's take it one step at a time. And so the first thing I did, just randomly, I listened to a podcast called Film Spotting.
Nice.
It's my favorite film podcast, and I just kind of pick through and watch them when they review. It's kind of like the old Siskel and Ebert. Should we give them a ring, even though
ran into them on an airplane
they're
once.
both dead?
They
I
were
had a
in
dream
Coach.
about them.
Yeah.
They were in Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Going
good.
to Buffalo.
Regular people going to a regular place.
Yeah.
I had a dream about them, and you don't want to hear it.
No, I do. I
don't
think
know.
you probably want to finish that thought before the rest of the world just assumes what sort of a dream you had about
And
Siskel
it wasn't
and Ebert.
erotic. It was maybe neurotic, but I was on this bus and I was like in some country. I was maybe in like Budapest or something like that. It was like I was traveling and I had to get from one place to another. And you know how dreams are. You just know you got to get somewhere. And I don't remember where. I don't even think it was.
You don't remember what the MacGuffin was.
I don't even think the
along.
dream had a MacGuffin. It was just got to get this place. And
Right.
so I hop on this bus, and the bus is taking a long route, and these locals told me to take it, and then I realized that Siskel and Ebert were like the driver and the ticket taker on the bus.
There's a separate ticket taker.
Yeah,
That's a serious bus.
Or it was just they took turns driving, and they were partners in the bus thing, and I thought, wow, I should really go up and talk to him and say how much of a fan I am and appreciate but I'm like, they probably get bothered all the time, and I'm just going to play it cool.
Also, thanks for driving this bus.
Yeah. And then I got off like where I was supposed to get off, but the only place there was this huge government, like brutalist government, like Eastern Bloc government building. And that's, I think, the end of the. I think I entered the building, and then it became kind of like Kafka's The Trial, and then it just, which is.
I was going to say, I like that you think that I knew that.
I didn't think that. I just wanted to feel smart.
Doesn't take much with me.
And it's a novel in which the first line is, someone must have been telling lies about Joseph K. Because one fine morning, two men walked up, knocked on his door, and arrested him. Oh. And he doesn't know what he's arrested for, but he just has to go to court, and he has to keep going to all these. And he never finds out what he did, and it's just endless bureaucracy, like an anxiety dream.
Oh, perfect.
And it is really a creep, but he starts wondering what he must have been arrested for, so all of his hidden guilts start coming out.
Okay.
And that almost seems to be the plan. So anyway, I'm sorry I slipped
And it relates,
into.
I was going to say, as that relates to Mad Max.
It doesn't, but it does a little. I suppose it's a kind of a fevered dream of a story, although the world building was not anything like the later Mad Maxes. It was just like regular old 1970s Australia.
Should we go through the plot a little bit?
Let's do it, but I wanted to just get a little context, and I just looked up all of the different Mad Max movies and the years there. So, just real quick, I feel like it's worth...
Yeah, 79, I think 83. Can I guess?
Yeah.
79, then Road Warrior, I think, was 83.
Right.
And then Thunderdome...
No, 81.
81. Thunderdome was like 86.
85.
Damn it.
And Fury Road...
2012.
2015.
All right. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. And so Road Warrior, I guess internationally it was just called Mad Max 2.
Yep.
So only in America it was released as The Road Warrior.
Yeah, they got all artsy and didn't just say Mad Max 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like The Road Warrior better than Mad Max 2, but whatever. I liked the second one a lot. The one we just watched I thought was really campy and funny and low budget.
Yeah.
Thunderdome, for some reason, I don't have any good memories of. It just seemed like it was kind of... Oh, you love that one?
Come on.
Just to me, it was a music video with
Tina Turner's in it.
Yeah. She's not an
I
actor.
make the law, and I say this man breaks the law.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Maybe I should see it again.
Oh.
And then Fury Road, and then
Which
now
was very good.
next is that prequel. And I even read on Wikipedia that they're already the star of Fury Road, and then the next one, the male lead, the guy that plays Mad Max.
Yeah.
What's his name? Chris Helmsworthy?
Chris Hemsworth?
Hemsworth?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
not him.
That's
I
not
thought
him.
it was,
Okay.
Is it Tom Hardy?
Yeah,
One of
I think-
those guys.
I think it's Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
maybe. But whatever, I guess he has a 3-movie contract, so
Yeah.
they feel like there's going to be. They already have a name of the third one.
Yeah.
And it's the Wasteland or something. Mad Max Wasteland.
Seems like all of them except for the first one could be called Wasteland. I guess I don't
Yeah.
remember Road Warrior well enough.
Yeah, that
see
was
it.
the one where he finds the little community, and they all wear white, and they have their own oil derrick.
Yeah.
And they're living their nice. But then the baddies show up.
They're living their best life.
They're
as
living
people
their
say.
best life in as far as that goes in that world. And I remember they had a bus as their front gate, like a full-on school bus that was armored, and they just pull it forward to shut it and then reverse it to open it.
Yeah.
And I remember liking the Road Warrior a lot. So, okay. So you want to go through the plot?
Yeah. So it is Australia, 1970s. Looks a lot like Australia, 1970s. Still, like the world doesn't seem to have changed a whole lot, except for a few small details. Those details are going to
The
be very
cops
important. Yeah.
definitely have different uniforms.
Do
Than,
you remember what the letters were? It was like the MFP or the FMP was one of those two. Was the name of the police force.
I don't remember.
I just remember being like, okay, they didn't bother to, be like, oh, okay, this is the highway patrol. They didn't do any of that. And then the key differences are, and so this is one of those, at the risk of talking about other
The
movies.
train driver wants to see the podcast.
It does.
Pulled by and came back.
I like it.
Yeah.
At the risk of talking about other movies, one of my favorites is Ricky Gervais has a couple of interesting movies that are very much like all of reality is exactly like it is right now with one small exception, right? And so like the one I'm thinking of is Nobody Knows How to Lie. And
Okay.
so the minute you start telling lies, people are like, wow, they believe you because there is no lying. The movie is the invention
and if
of lying.
you become the first liar, you can
Right.
You can rule the
So
world in a way.
in that same sort of universe, this movie exists. Not that there's no lying, but that also, in addition to this police force that doesn't really exist in Australia, there are wild and crazy biker gangs everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no backstory.
But here's the deal with that is that this is a genre. I've seen a bunch of these movies.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There was a full-on biker. So the Hells Angels were romanticized around that time.
Okay.
They were cool.
Yeah.
And so they started making all these low-budget Hollywood films, and it would be out in the desert in Hollywood, and they would just have a bunch of bikers. They would hire real bikers to be the extras. And it was always, like, violent and sexual, and there was always shows some nudity, and there was, like, I
That's
think
why you
most
were
of the
watching.
sex was basically rape. I mean,
Right.
but
Which also checks out for this movie.
there was a difference, though.
They didn't show it.
They didn't show it,
Yeah.
but it was gay. Everything, and so that's one of
was.
my big points is the gayness of this
There was a
piece.
lot of gay stuff.
I think the whole. So that's my reading of it. I don't want to jump too far ahead, though.
I'm full agreement on this.
Yeah.
So,
which is not like the other. I mean, if you think about the other Mad Maxes, the latest one, some people said had kind of a feminist message. Other people really argued against that. It just happened to be about women rather than men, but they were doing the same thing that men do.
Yeah.
And but it had a kind of a social message. It wasn't like any sort of over the top or hitting you over the head with politics, but there was an idea behind it. And I can't think of the other Road Warriors or Mad Maxes having that. And I don't. This one doesn't seem to have that, and unless you want to try to say that it's a, some kind of a gay film. I just don't think the director was going for that for anything other than camp, because I think everything was played for humor, I thought, but I don't know. You said you don't agree with that.
I don't think so, but I thought it was super campy. So, okay, Australia, 1970s, biker gangs. And police officer who is dead set against biker gangs.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plot.
Well, yeah, the police force is against the biker gang. Those are the two forces of power in this society.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has jobs. I don't think there's a supply chain. I don't think there's an economy. It's just there's a police force and there's a biker gang.
There's good guys. I mean, it's literally good guys and bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the plot.
I mean, for me, that was the plot.
Okay, there's more to it than that, but
there is. The biker gang targets his wife because
eventually,
because they take somebody into custody. I found it very confusing.
No, well, here's the plot.
Okay,
sit back, relax, get ready to just be schooled.
Okay,
it's a standard plot. It's the cop who's in this rough kind of thing.
Yeah.
Has a kid, has a wife, decides to quit the force, but gets pulled back into it because that's his true nature.
Yeah.
And the baddies, somebody needs to do it, and the baddies kind of fixated on him, and they pull him back into it. And then at the end, he is fully, the road warrior again.
At the cost of the wife and the kid.
He has to lose the wife and kids because you can't have both.
That's why Lethal Weapon kept going.
Yeah.
Because there was that movie as well, the standard story, but they they never killed anybody off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really the same movie if you think about it.
I think that movie's probably been repeated a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the plot.
Right.
And but I
like that standard plot.
I have a twist on it.
Oh.
But I want to get to I have a couple of little notes. I'm so surprised you didn't look up the car. Do you know what kind of car it was?
I believe it's a Ford.
It is a Ford.
I believe it is it's either a Galaxy or a Falcon.
Falcon.
All right.
GT.
Yeah, so it's a big V8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called an Interceptor.
Yeah. You know what there's like a racetrack there, and there is it's Bathurst. It's the name of the racetrack, and they are famous for having big races there because it is GM and Ford. So it's Holden, which is another Australian car, but it's owned by General Motors. And they've sold variants of Holdens here from time to time as Pontiacs and as Chevrolets, among others. Saturns, a few other ones. And Bathurst is like they go and get drunk and brawl over Ford versus Holden. So
cool.
That's the Falcon. Yeah. It's a cool car.
It is a cool car, and it's the same car is used in I think at least the first three movies.
It's for sure in the Road Warrior. I don't remember
Thunderdome.
I'd have to go back.
I think
and watch.
Wikipedia said it was. The car has its own Wikipedia page.
Has to,
which is good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the first one wasn't as worked over as the next two.
Worked over meaning beat up and
like they put like armor on it. They made it look a little more post-apocalyptic.
Well, was it a different car at the beginning? Because the police cars are like brightly painted, but then it was just this flat black thing.
Right.
But that was separate from the other police cars.
They created a monster just for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was separate, and
You
they
know what
called
was
it the
weird
Interceptor.
about Mad Max? He wasn't that mad. Like
Never.
all the other ones, and I don't mean just angry. He wasn't crazy. He was just pretty normal.
I mean, Mel Gibson, maybe it's the opposite of Mel Gibson in real life.
Yeah, that's
He's,
right.
Yeah, he's
So-
not anti-Semitic in
He's
in
just
this one.
Yeah, he's just a nice guy.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Just, they crossed him on the wrong day.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
But so
He also has like 4 lines in the entire movie.
yeah, that's what. So I listened to like the Film Spotting
Yeah.
reviewed Fury Road, and they were pretty interesting. And they said that there was something very like Buster Keaton like about a lot of these movies is that they could be silent films.
This
Because
just
it's-
about was.
It's all action, and a lot of these like wild stunts and all that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
sort of what it's about.
There was one of the Bourne movies that Matt Damon did. That was one of the more recent ones. Had, it was like a hour and 40 minutes or whatever, and it had like 13 minutes total of dialogue. It was something crazy, and it was just basically no talking, all explosions and car chases. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
Personally.
I think that's an accomplishment.
It is.
It is
Yeah.
a visual art form, and if you can pull it off without a whole lot of talking, I think that most filmmakers call that an achievement.
Yeah.
Not a flaw.
If you need words, why aren't you just writing it, right?
Exactly.
Step into your world.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want them being in my lane.
Right.
Take
Stay in your
your
own lane.
take
Just
your
make pictures.
interceptor and then just drive on into your film, man. Stay
right.
out of my novel,
Right.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So I wanted to just go through the funny part. I
want to say that watching this movie with you
Yeah.
was one of my favorite movie-going experiences because you were pretty much the only person in the theater laughing loudly at the stuff that was funny.
Okay, good.
Like I think people were taking it really seriously.
Oh, they didn't
and-
get it.
And
They didn't
I
have
thought
a-
it was serious, but I also thought it was campy, and that it was sort of a. We have more than one train, really.
It's
Or just
busy train
Yeah.
time, man.
And so I thought that at least in 1979 it would be taken seriously, or it was meant to be.
Maybe.
But that you were like, wow, yeah, oh God,
Yeah.
oh, this is amazing. Like
I was having fun with
and there
it.
was one woman in front of us that laughed a few times.
Okay, good.
But no, and I was laughing because I'm like, it is funny because of how absolutely preposterous the movie was.
It was preposterous, and I think that it was supposed to be preposterous, and to what degree it was meant to be funny on every line. But so the first laugh, this was not an accident, and this was not just some like inept directing where he didn't realize it was funny. They show Mel Gibson looking really normy, wearing in his civilian clothes.
Yeah.
He's at home. It's a nice home. He's in his living room.
Yeah,
And they're playing kind of like sexy saxophone music.
they are.
And it just pans back, and his wife is playing the sax.
Yes,
That was just straight up comedy. There's no other.
you were dying.
It was really, really funny.
It
took
was
me
really
by.
funny.
It was a Saturday Night Live skit, and
you're
then they
thinking
never brought the
No, she
it
never
again.
played it again.
So, and then there was a second part that was obviously funny. The couple are talking. I think he's telling her he wants to give up the cop biz,
Yeah.
or she's telling him and then they show the toddler, and he's like, "Oh, cute!" And you realize he's playing with the guy's pistol.
Playing with the gun. Yeah.
And I thought that was comedy too. And maybe that was supposed to be, oh, this is a dangerous job. Your kid's going to play with your gun. But to me, I just thought it was like not quite slapstick, but pretty broad humor.
Okay.
And then nothing ever happened with it.
Right.
Like the kid didn't
Didn't
shoot.
go anywhere.
No.
Didn't shoot anybody or himself.
It was this surprising thing where this little, 1-year-old is
Yeah.
playing, and then you notice, oh, he's got a fucking big old pistol in his hand.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny. and other parts of it, the overacting of the biker gang.
Amazing.
I feel like that could be just that genre,
They call
that
it
time.
the Night
Yeah.
Rider.
The night. Is it the Night Rider? He's not
Ri-
the Night Crawler.
Night Crawler. I don't remember.
Night
have my
Crawler is
notes.
a worm. I don't think.
Yeah, I
they
think it
were-
was Night Rider.
Night Rider.
I remember thinking that
Yeah.
Michael Landon wants his show back.
Yeah. the
Probably
acting-
he'd want his life back first.
The
but-
acting wasn't great, and Mel Gibson wasn't exactly like acting up a storm or either.
So,
I mean, it's just
so I
kinda
want to
there.
ask the question because I agree. Well, maybe I can wait till the end. I can wait till we're done, kind of walking through some of these things.
Well,
I have a
I
few
just wanted
questions.
to. I'm just looking at the humor parts. Okay, and then the last humor one is where I want to lead into my main kind of thesis,
Yeah,
and that's the scene with the police chief.
unbelievable.
And
I mean,
that was not accident. He wasn't going for like ominous badass. It was full on.
That was super
gay.
gay. Yeah.
London leather boy.
Yes.
Bondagey, and they're all their
and he's
outfits.
like big and ripped.
He's
got
big and
this,
ripped.
like scarf, like a
Yeah. So completely bald, really giant, like 6'4". He's towering over
yeah.
Mel Gibson. Bald head, shiny bald head, and a big bushy mustache.
Yeah.
And they're all all the
He could have
cops
been in the
wear
Village
these
People.
Village People completely. So
Yeah.
all the cops wear black leather
Yeah.
from toe.
Like the
to
cop
head.
from the Village People. Now you were right.
He really
Yeah.
is, and also there was, I'm not ready to go there yet, but maybe we can. I want to talk about some of the heavy metal bands of my youth that
All
we
right.
later found out whose lead singers were gay. There was two
Judas
of them.
Priest.
Judas Priest,
Is the
and he
one I'm
looked
thinking
just
of.
like. They looked just like Judas Priest, and Rob Halford was gay.
Yeah.
And
Who else?
what's that?
What was the other one for there?
There was a band called Accept, which was a heavier band. They were from Germany, and they
Yeah.
were like hard. They were really good, and,
Yeah.
and the metalheads really liked Accept. But if you think about the name,
Yeah. I mean, it checks out,
Accept
right?
And it's the lead singer was this little dwarf, really short, chunky guy, but with this booming voice. He just like
Cool.
belted it out.
Yeah.
And his name was Udo Dirkschneider. Wow. What a name, huh?
Damn.
And we kind of realized that. So the name of their first album, and I don't know how many albums they made. That's the only one I know. But it was called, it had a close-up shot of a kind of like a Roman gladiator-ish crotch, a male crotch with
Yeah.
a sort of underwear-ish like kind of garment, and it's all kind of grainy, black and white. It looks kind of greasy and hairy. And then the hand at the hip of this crotch shot is holding a like softball-sized ball bearing, steel, and the name of the album, Balls to the Wall.
Oh my God.
And that was the main song. We got your balls to the wall, man.
Was that not the giveaway?
It was kind of a giveaway. We
Yeah.
got that. And so here's my little point about that. It was, I don't know, man. If you being
It
in
felt
high
like
sc-
that.
being in high school in the mid 80s,
Yeah.
we didn't think of there wasn't LBGTQIA plus.
No.
It was pretty much
In the 90s either.
it was not an easy time to be gay, no
Yeah.
doubt. It wasn't, at least in my high school area, there was a certain level of acceptance, but not like you would
There was not
ruin
for mine,
you would
probably.
ruin your reputation if you actually befriended one of the known gay guys. And so it was like
was there known gay guys?
there were a couple that
Okay.
no, I think there were more just suspected
We didn't have any.
and
at least that I knew
rumored.
of.
I had a big high school.
Actually, I take that back. There was one that was suspected.
Yeah.
Somebody I knew.
Do you want to out him right now and
No.
ring the bell? Like,
No.
just in case. It's
No,
not-
because I think he really is. So it's one of those like, yeah, we'll just leave it there.
So we were pretty much what I guess I probably would have considered myself live and let live, and like
Yeah.
I wasn't a hater, but I would certainly my attitudes back then would be homophobic. You know,
Mine
it was
too.
not. It was not like, you know.
But I would say mine too. But if I thought somebody was gay, I was also like, that takes one guy out of going for
Yeah,
these
that's a
girls
good
that are
justification.
Here. Like I was okay with that. That was
I think it's like, hey man, do what you want, but just don't hit on me. Like, it was this
Right.
fear that gay guys were going to just always go and try to hit on straight guys.
And then I did get hit on in college once at the
Yeah.
gay bar, incidentally, because
So
we went there.
So you went to the gay bar.
We did. Yeah, and then we
And
got hit on.
shockingly, you
and
got
I,
hit on.
And I remember thinking that before we went in, if somebody hit on me, that it was going to be weird. And somebody offered to buy me a drink, and I was like, you know what? Don't waste your money.
I like where this is going.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, don't waste your money. I was
Then you
there-
woke up the next day.
I did.
And
I'm
you
not going
felt-
to say it.
You felt
Yep.
a little.
I had to take a shower.
Yeah.
No, it was.
I'm
once
glad
it happened,
that
I
you
was
finally
like,
decided to talk about it.
right.
On
if I went back,
the podcast.
that's what makes it gay,
Yeah,
right?
that's
If you,
right.
so it's something my sister-in-law says, trying it once, no big deal. If you went back, it's because you liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That-
And I'm not
that's-
outing her. She is married to a woman.
That's wise words.
Yeah.
But my ultimate thing was that the fact that when we all found out that Rob Halford, so we all adored Judas Priest.
Yeah.
They were just one of the great heavy
they're really
metal
good.
bands.
Yeah.
And we all just kind of slowly learned and accepted that Rob Halford was gay and that all that leather stuff was part of this. So the band Accept had a song called London Leather Boys, and that's a scene. It was this bondage scene kind of thing.
That's
But we
completely
were
what
all
was
like,
happening.
yeah, but I didn't meet one single guy, even the most kind of rednecky, gay hating.
Yeah.
Not one of them ever said, I'm not going to listen to. They all said, well, they still rip.
They do.
And that was kind of.
It's a big moment.
It is a big moment,
Yeah.
and I think it had something to do with the real gay rights kind of revolution. It's just little by little, even the people that were most skeptical were just kind of like, okay, they could still sing. And
Yeah.
what do I care?
Exactly.
And then by the time Udo Dirkschneider showed up on the scene, we didn't even hesitate. We were like, yeah, he's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so, whatever.
It's a way of
It's a nice story. I
yeah.
thought,
Yeah. Sort
looking
of
back.
broadening your horizons. This movie was maybe what started that. To get back to it.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
so there's a scene.
Here's the scene.
So
we have the
bald,
big guy.
bare-chested, literally naked from.
Well, so
the
far
waist
we've
up.
only seen him in leather, but then
Right.
Mel Gibson goes to his apartment
Right.
to tell him that he's going to quit the force, and so he goes up and he's looking kind of wimpy because he's not wearing his police clothes
Right.
anymore. He's wearing his normie clothes.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's wearing pastel beachwear. It's really.
Yeah.
A pretty mild. So he goes up these steep stairs.
Lots of them too.
And then the guy opens the door, and he's towering above him in a obviously superior. There's a dom and sub kind of
Totally.
thing going on. But the guy's shirtless,
yes,
and he's got these big old man tits.
he does.
He's just
He's all
giant.
juiced up.
Is huge.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
he's got the tight shorts on.
Yeah.
And no shirt, and then this
scarf.
absurd scarf around his neck
Amazing.
that is just hanging down to his belly.
Yeah.
But yet that scowling face and the bald head and the huge mustache. And he's carrying, I think it was pink, a watering can
Yeah.
for all the plants
He was watering the
that are
plants.
in his apartment.
Yeah.
And he's holding this watering can through
Yeah.
the whole scene where they have this Daddy's mad at you because you want to quit the force.
Totally.
And it's all, it was just so funny. And, so anyway.
And this is
I
not
thought-
a scene that you remembered. I certainly
No,
did
I didn't
not.
remember it. But there's no way that a real filmmaker, a grown-up, shot this scene not knowing that he was messing with all kinds of stereotypes, and the ultimate tough guy is also the ultimate
to be.
big daddy leather gay boy.
It can't be any other way. But man, if it wasn't intentional, then it's the
Yeah.
worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. That that director has directed all of them. So,
Well, the first three or all of them?
All of them, including the latest.
What?
Yeah, George Miller. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his vision, and
So I'm going to ask the question:
All right.
How the fuck did they get a budget for a second movie?
I just
Because it's totally different. The second and the third are completely different.
okay. I swear. Well, he did it on a small budget. It made bank, man. I swear, I saw on Wikipedia, and I didn't follow the link up, but it said it's like the highest grossing film in history or something. Partly probably because it costs nothing to make, but it keeps being played forever.
The most profitable, maybe highest
the
grossing
most,
is different.
Yeah,
right?
there's no way it could be because that was like Barbie and Oppenheimer and all that. That gets beaten every year, but I don't know. It was one of those Wikipedia links that you have to
It's
follow
got to be
the
true.
link
But just assuming it's true.
because it's on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah.
But anyway, it was successful,
Yeah.
and so
I was dumbfounded watching it because.
yeah.
All right, are you familiar with the multi-world theory? That
Yeah.
there's people who have said things like they're a journalist and they went to interview Nelson Mandela in South Africa while he was in jail and was turned away. Sorry, prison and was turned away because he was not feeling well, and she went back to the States and was sure that he died in prison. And this is
The
something
Mandela effect you're
yeah,
talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then there's something a little more, closer to home for me. The Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
Berenstain Bears.
Oh.
And that these things are, and so in my head, this fits with that. Because I remember this movie being fucking amazing.
Yeah.
When I was
It's
in high
scary.
school. And so good.
And cathartic at the end
Yeah.
when he sorry folks, we're not going to worry about spoilers
No.
here. This is an old
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the ending being really shocking and badass revenge story that he throws the saw to the guy while he's
Yeah.
about to burn.
You were laughing at all of the deaths, by the way. It was pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not all those deaths
There was
were
zero
supposed-
fucks given. I liked it.
Maybe those were not supposed to be funny, but I was in a
Well,
laughing mood.
By
man.
that time,
Yeah. Yeah,
everything
the whole
else
thing was so
funny.
silly that and the deaths were over the top, and they come upon the first crime, and there's the guy that got captured by the
Yeah.
bikers is running through the desert butt naked, and he's just bleeding out of his anus, which sounds horrific,
It does.
but I'm sorry, it was funny. It was like
you like the rape joke, did you?
I don't know that it was a joke. It was just ridiculous.
It was
I mean, it
ridiculous.
just was ridiculous.
And the female was terrified, but largely untouched.
Yeah, those guys.
So that was
those
the-
guys went one way.
Right.
They swung one way, and so I'm like saving my my big reading for the main course. But the other thing I had were some what would later become homages in later films.
Okay.
How they repeated, and I found only a couple really, but I noticed them really well, and that is in the second Mad Max, The Road Warrior.
Mad Max 2
Mad
for the rest
Max
of you.
2 for
Yeah.
those of you in
Everywhere else.
everywhere else.
Yeah. Besides wherever we are.
Yeah, the Road Warrior / Mad Max 2. They had the same. He wasn't the head baddie, but he was like the second in command baddie,
Right.
and he had like a white stripe across his nose that was like almost like an American Indian kind of thing. That looked exactly like yeah.
So like horizontally across the nose, the bridge of the nose onto the eyes.
Yeah, a
Got
white
it.
stripe painted there. And the second in command in Road Warrior, Mad Max,
Yeah.
had a Band-Aid across the bridge of his nose that
Okay.
looked almost exactly the same. And I think they were just nodding toward that. And in both cases, they had the main baddie had an effeminate gay lover, and like in the Road Warrior, he looked like the singer from Motley Crue or something. He looked like a hair metal kid, like skinny and cute. And I don't remember in the biker gang, but the whole thing was like
the guy.
It was a gay, badass biker gang.
Yeah.
And so I thought those were homages. But the more important one is in Mad Max, they had the pole vaulting attackers, where they were pole vaulting from one vehicle onto another to like board it like the truck or something, and that came back with a vengeance in Fury Road. That was like a main, and I didn't remember that at all in the original, but you remember it in Fury Road because it was like that was a big part of the whole car chase thing.
Yeah.
But it started in that first one. I just thought that was kind of cool and it's that same director
George
is just bringing back his old tricks and just nodding to them in a pretty satisfying way if you start studying them all.
Okay, so I have a question, and I used to believe this was true, and I don't remember now. The Road Warrior, I believe, is a prequel to Mad Max. No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't remember. But I remember.
No, because he's already grizzled and like the world has gone to hell. He definitely doesn't have a woman.
I don't know.
Doesn't have a kid. He looks beat up by life.
We might need to come back to this because I remember upon first viewing, it was like, oh, this is.
So at the beginning of Mad Max, it said at a time in the very near future or a time, something like.
Yeah, very near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at like 1970, like 1985.
Right. Yeah.
Could have been,
79. Yeah, 6 years. All right.
Yeah.
I'll let it happen.
So, here's my reading. It is a twist on the cop trying to leave the light. It's also The Godfather, right? Like they keep Godfather 2. I keep leaving, but they keep dragging me back.
Yeah.
You can't leave the crime family. So, it's that story, but the thing that is his authentic self and the thing that he's into before he gets married and has a kid is the gay scene. It's the gay guy trying to go straight.
Okay.
And so the police force...
You and your literary readings.
The police force and the bikers are just different versions of the kind of gay scene.
All right.
And one is kind of rough and tumble, and the other is more order and bondage-y. But they both are undoubtedly, representing that kind of world. And Mel Gibson's 100% part of it. Max is a part of that, but he just wants to get out. He wants to become a normie. He doesn't want to be in that. Yeah, and like I want to wear regular like beach wear and shorts and hang out and have a wife that I'm pretending to love and like kind of holding my nose when we make love.
They
and
had a kid.
Have a kid, and I'm just a normal guy. And so that whole scene where he's talking to the police chief, and the police chief is like
you can't get out.
No, you're not having it. And like, no, that's not you, man. You're. And then so the scene, which is both the police and the bikers, essentially drag him back in and
they do
kill his wife and his kid.
We're bringing you back.
And then he comes back, and it's like he comes back with a wholehearted, like he's never going to go back again.
There's an asexuality about him too.
Yeah.
From there on out.
Yeah.
Making that up. Yeah.
There was a scene. The camera was showing him, like Mel Gibson's ass in that super tight leather pants, and it was a lovingly just pausing the camera,
well framed
on the curvature of his posterior, and I'm like, oh my god!
I like that you said posterior to describe Mel Gibson's butt.
Yeah. So anyway, and so I think at the end, is it a tragedy? No, it's just inevitable. It's like he never was going to. You have to be what you are, and you're part of that scene. And at the end, now he knows, and he's even more in it than he was before because he gets the better car, And
he does get the better car.
He
'Cause
fully
he doesn't start with the Interceptor.
No, he just
Yeah.
has like a
Regular
yeah.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, okay, I'm in it to win it. And so we're like,
So you think from a literary perspective, let's say, does it deliver? Does it win? What if it's not doing that?
I didn't feel like
You're like, I'm definitely not wrong. It's definitely doing that.
I didn't feel like a very much of an emotional payoff
there was
at
none.
the very end.
Nothing.
Like, I didn't give a shit.
I agree.
When the wife and kid die. Okay, a wife and kid get killed in a movie, that is supposed to be just wrenching.
Yeah.
It wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
It was just like, come on now. Like, okay, glad we got rid of them so we can get on some more car chases and stuff like that. And then the end, when he throws the guy the saw to make him cut off his hands so he can maybe escape, and he doesn't. He just blows up. I'm like, it was cool, I guess, but whatever. It wasn't like that. I don't think it really succeeded as a story that well.
Payoff wasn't
It
great.
wasn't much of a Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, there you go.
Quentin calls them revenge-o-matics.
Yep.
And, it's just
He's done a few of those.
It's a story that always gets the emotional, payoff because we are so in tune with revenge. And this doesn't work as a revenge-o-matic, but and so I think it works as campy.
Yeah.
More of a John Waters movie. Do you know John Waters?
Yeah.
So John Waters is like the king of camp, and had this movie called The Pink Flamingos, like where this, I don't know what you call divine, a really large person, biologically male, who dresses like a female, but really caked on, like drag queen, but really kind of like monstrous, and I mean that as nice as I can. But
you're channeling David Foster Wallace there.
Yeah,
I mean this in the nicest way possible.
I know. I am very much. You said David Foster Wallace, and I said Divine.
Yeah.
Divine eats a fresh dog shit out of the dog's ass, like puts like the hand underneath.
Where did this podcast go just now?
It's John Waters. He just does some really, and then just like gobbles down this fresh turd on camera in one take. It's really hard to watch.
It's hard to listen to.
Yeah. But John Waters is a trippy guy, man. You should. That's a rabbit hole worth going into. He has like the pencil thin mustache, and he's like tall and thin, and dresses like thrift story in a way. And
I'm blown away right now.
It's really funny stuff, and weird.
For about the third time in my life, I'm speechless.
Because of the...
Yeah. Like, what are you watching? That's the question.
It's all underground stuff,
I guess.
It's pretty... Not even very deep underground. It's, if you get into any kind of like art film stuff, you're going to find John Waters.
Okay.
So, yeah, you could just Google John Waters and...
Good. Yeah.
He's cool. But I thought it was approaching the John Waters kind of milieu.
All right.
And not he didn't go as far, and it was an adventure, and it was like a car movie in ways that John
Waters... Which is what I thought more that it was when I saw it many years ago.
It kind of was that. I think the later ones lean into that more and more, especially Fury Road.
Yeah.
That whole car chase, just how elaborate those cars are, where the smaller car is welded on top of the bigger car.
Well, that was stolen from, Thunderdome. Come on.
Oh, Thunderdome had that?
Oh,
okay.
no. You had Master Blaster. Two-man enter, one-man leave. Well, it was really three-man enter, one-man leave.
How did that work? I don't remember.
There was the fight. They get in the... It's like
but why
the
three-man? Oh, because three
Master and Blaster were... It was like a guy, the little guy controlling the...
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Big slow guy. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the nod to that. See?
Oh, that's the little thing on top of the big thing. But they made it as car, like the truck with the car on top of the truck.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh, nice one.
need to be a mini car to really
Yeah.
match. But
Nice.
yeah.
I like
All
it
right,
a
so
lot.
you ready for my take on this one?
Please.
Well, the last time I think I saw it was with high school girlfriend, so late '90s.
So you weren't laughing at the deaths. Probably weren't in
No,
the mood
I
to.
remember thinking how serious I thought it was and how good it was, and she was pretty sure it was the worst movie she'd ever seen. And credit where
broke
it is
up
due.
You guys broke up after
We
that.
did
right?
immediately after. Credit where it is due, Jennifer.
Whoa.
Oh, you were right. It was fucking horrible. Despite all of the things that you're laying out there, for what it was, this is a god-awful movie. But it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
But I remember
no,
thinking
it
that
wasn't
on a serious level, it was really good. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
no,
look at that.
it wasn't.
Oh, we got spillage. I'll wring that out in my mouth later so it's not alcohol abuse. Yeah. So
That reminds me of a movie. John Waters.
Oh, no. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what. Oh, no. Nope. So, yeah, I did not. It was, man, it was appalling how bad it was. I remember immediately thinking, I'm like, what? They've gone later into explaining why the baddies are bad. And in this one, you know, in my head, I was thinking Star Wars was made 2 years before this. And this has, you know, 5 movies made, 5 movies made, and they're looking for and I'm going, this does not check out. Like, what? I watched a different movie. It could not be in this.
I've been watching the first Star Wars also can be a very different experience than as when you watched it when you were a kid. Like, it's pretty hokey, and now the special effects for the time that was, you know,
Yeah.
that was unbeatable. It was the best
Okay.
movie ever made.
What's the
and
hokiest part? Aside from maybe a whiny Luke.
The storyline was just an old, it's like cowboy
Yeah.
story, and the I don't know. I don't want to bring Star Wars.
You want to
into
ruin Star Wars for
no,
everybody?
I'm just
Thank
saying
you.
that old movies do tend to.
They don't hold up that well.
Yeah, just the technology is different and the ethos is different and all that stuff.
This must have been on like $1,000 budget.
Yeah, I just think that people saw some scenes in it that just showed that this guy had a vision and could do stuff on a budget, and they got better and better, or at least
They did.
The second one was a huge leap.
Way
absolutely
improved.
a huge
Yeah.
leap into better storytelling.
We got to watch that one and talk about it.
Yeah, we could do that. We could watch them all. We can,
'Cause-
do you want to? Are you want to watch the latest one, the one that's coming out like now?
Comes out.
Oh, it's out now.
Came out,
It's
yeah.
out now. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you just like had enough?
No. I mean, I really liked Fury Road, thinking that
Yeah.
it was a continuation of this amazing series of films, not movies, films, sir.
Films.
Yeah, and turns out I was pretty far off the mark on that one.
On the first one, I think you're being too hard on it.
I'm
if
not.
if you like it, it can't be all bad. I just
Oh,
think that a
man.
really bad movie also is impossible to enjoy.
To me, I don't
To
know
me.
how anybody saw that and went, you know what? Let's give that guy more money. Like, that's in my head. I think it's
it
from a
made
business
money.
decision.
I mean, that's
the
made money, and so
Yeah.
that's how those guys think. Oh, he made a movie on $1,000 budget and it made a bunch of money. We'll give him more money. That's how that works, and
Yeah.
it was a great idea.
And at one
mean,
point, I
yeah.
liked it. So you can
Yeah.
throw that in my face whenever you want.
Yeah. Well, some people do think that it's the best one, like film people, because it's the purest.
Oh my!
But I'm not in that camp, and I think.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
Thunderdome's the best one. Clearly,
Is
the
it?
one you didn't like?
I just don't remember it. It may be just that I watched it on HBO, like half paying attention, and I was probably at an age where I just wasn't really. So, I doubt that it's the movie's fault that I didn't really, that I don't really have much of an impression of.
I think that one's the
Thunderdome.
pinnacle for me.
What?
I think that one's the pinnacle for me. But I think we
Right.
should find out. I think we can spread this one out.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
we can do it.
do another one of these.
Yeah. Every now and then we'll just throw in another
Throw
Mad
in
Max.
Another Mad
and-
Max. Why
Yep.
not? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, I got nothing else, man.
Me either.
All
I
right.
like it. You know,
Groovy.
kind of. Do I have? Let me turn this up and.
And get us out of here.
Yeah.
And we still have beer left.
Yeah, we do. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So the guys at the moonunderwaterpodcast.com.
Yeah, or Pubcast.
Pubcast. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Pubcast.
Both
Shoot us a
work.
line. Give us a review. And
Unless it's a bad review, then we don't care.
don't give us a review. Just
Right.
keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Good review.
All right, thank you.
All right.